you may have given up these foolish ideas, but the power of religion, the agenda of religion, is more to keep you in a mindset or a framework or a way of thinking, so much so that no matter what you deal with, if you use the same technology of thinking, the same motif for thinking, the same thinking model, you will always be suffering. You will always not, I guess for a lack of a better way to say it, have spiritual access to the information you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to what we're studying, our conscious ancient science, because we still have a religious motif, even though we think we are over Jesus and over Allah or whatever thing it is your parents made you worship first, even though we think we're over that, because we have the same framework, the same technology of thinking that has not been reorganized or reordered, we still have a religious mindset even with our conscious information. So therefore, when you hear, oh, we're talking like this and this is dangerous and the Illuminati's going to get us and this person's going to get us and we need to be quiet, actually you don't, and nothing happens, because what the powers that be do understand, the people that seek to control the masses do understand, is if you don't have the proper way of thinking, then no matter how ancient or powerful the information is, it's useless to you. Until you're able to reorder how you see these things, you cannot access or you cannot make full use of your conscious information. Now, if you need, see, before there was such a thing as religion, the mentality that set the stage for religious practice or religious slavery or religious manipulation or control to come into the game is superstition. When you start feeling or learned out of fear, routine, or ignorance things that you're not supposed to do. This is actually opposite of the true magician, which is the scientist. So in this day and age, your goal as the magician is to be the scientist as opposed to this superstitious entity telling you what you can and cannot do or what is right or what is wrong. Half the time in my class, I'm trying to get people to realize they need to stop asking me if they can do it and start telling me what happened after they did it. Because as a scientist, that's your goal here, to experiment. I am no more skilled than you can be or possibly anyone else based upon, but the difference between me and you is I tried all of this shit and can tell you results based upon a scientific mentality as opposed to following a rule book, which is somebody else's rule, superstition, or religion. And these things were given to you. Now, we're going to go through some of my notes so we could probe this idea now that we laid it down a little bit more. Let me find some stuff I was looking at that I wrote down for you guys. All right. The power of the mind is truly limitless, for better or for worse. Therefore, it's very easy to create conditions of poverty, misery, bad luck, illness, without being conscious that we're actually doing it. See, what we think we're doing is trying to uncover or tap into the power of the mind. But what we need to understand is you cannot divorce yourself from the power of the mind. So the conditions that are around you in terms of our poverty, in terms of our feeling like the underdog, in terms of this mass ignorance is because of the power of the mind, the power of the mind that was misused and you co-sign and agree with based upon routine and basically just growing up like that. So we tend to think in that if we get into this magic or this ancient thing, we start to open up the power of the mind. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that the power of the mind has never wavered. It just now so ignorant that it's creating these terrible surroundings, this misery, this feeling of lack, this feeling of emptiness and this ignorance that we call our everyday life that we think we're sifting through when we read a couple of conscious books. If we understand that this power of this mind is constantly and always creating, all we need to do is give it what it needs to create our interpretation of what it is we feel is, our true truth or our true destiny, or however you want to say it. Now, we need to understand this forms a vicious circle because what is believed to be true comes true. So the problem goes from bad to worse. Basically, if you believe it to be true, it's going to be true. And because of our belief, it only expands. So the more we talk about we hate Jesus, the more of that energy, if you will, of so-called hate Jesus becomes prevalent in our lives. We have to see, this is the key to understanding it. See, the difference, there was a time I would run around saying, oh, fuck Jesus and I hate Jesus. But then when I started to read the Gnostic stuff and understood what the Christ energy was, you go beyond it. So I didn't expand on my hate for Jesus, therefore to run into more Christians and run into more shit that we complain about by expanding it or making it go from bad to worse. What I did was take the energy and reordered it, because understanding the mind is powerful. The subconscious mind is what you need to actually the subconscious mind is constantly creating your reality. Therefore, you need to give it a better reality, and it's there to expand your reality. So the more we say we hate Christ, we hate, Jesus, this white man, and the more we talk about the Illuminati, because of your powerful mind, the more you expand and see more of this so-called misery. The more you're able to change the attitude in your mind, you're able now to take that power back, which was his ancient intention for the Christ energy anyway. So you need to be able to halt the cycle by simply changing your mind or your attitude. We need to change our attitude. Our attitude, conscious or not, has not changed. It's still, there was a time where it was your slave master, and then when you felt a little bit more liberated, the slave master became the devil. The white man's the devil. And then when you learned a little bit more about the devil, and that shit became played out to call him the devil, he became this Illuminati, the power that be. So you never changed your attitude, really. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's still this white oppressor, opposite oppressor. You need to change your attitude. See, when I changed my attitude, what I understood was we created them, and they're running amok. And it's up to us to step back in our shoes and balance everything out. All of this Mayat and Patah father shit that you're talking about, you have to step up into that role and stop calling them these evil reptiles from other planets that came down to dig gold and all the rest of these things. Because all it is the same this one controlling figure that just keeps changing the name for you. You get what I'm saying? So your attitude hasn't changed, therefore the subconscious mind hasn't changed. You just change one superstition for another superstition, or or from one religion to another religion. So from Jesus to Allah, from Allah to Buddha, from Buddha to Kuan Yin, from Kuan Yin to Oshun, it's the same worship mentality, and nothing never really changes because you haven't changed the core of your thinking. And that's what you need to do as a magician or a scientist, change the core of your thinking as opposed to a religious mindset or a superstitious mindset. The Illuminati's out to get me, the masses out to get me, the devil's out to get me, the white man's out to get me, Mr. Establishment is out to get me, the CIA is out to get me, the FBI is out to get me, vaccines are out to get me, chemtrails are out to get me, and you name the shit and the shit goes on. It's someone who's always out to get your ass. That's what we need to give up. You get what I'm saying? Magicians ain't fucking with that bullshit. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear me having a whole dialogue about the foot that's in our ass. You get what I'm saying? Understand it. They said in the Will Smith movie, danger is real. Fear is an illusion, not real, and it's only the idea of a future that's never got here. That's what we fear the most. But danger is real. We need an aggressive reaction to danger. And the danger is not the white man. The danger is what you believe his power to be over you. That's our danger. And as the magician, is your goal, first and foremost, primarily, to change your mind and attitude. And that's the core of changing reality, because it all starts with the mind. The mind is all, and the universe is mental. And this whole entire reality is based upon the black mind. You get what I'm saying? So what is the black mind thinking? The black mind is thinking in a religious motif or religious framework. So change your mind and you change your circumstances. Before any change can take place, it's necessary to discover the place of tranquility and then make this inhabit. See, we haven't discovered this place of love or tranquility in us. We're only probing this place of fear in us. What Beyonce is doing, what Jay-Z is doing, what they're going to do to us next. They're going to put us in fucking ovens and camps and all of this stuff. We're probing this fear. You get what I'm saying? We're expanding this fear. You get what I'm saying? We're not making this.
Brother Panny.
Yes, sir.
Let me interject because Will Smith's new movie that's out with him and his son Jaden in it. That's what the movie is about.
Right. Fear. Right. Yes, sir.
Fear.
Eliminating fear. Eliminating fear and becoming invisible. What he was becoming a ghost of was his ego was supposed to know. This. He was becoming invisible to this world. You've heard the statement, I'm in it, but not of it. You get what I'm saying?